Live. So make some noise because we are now live. Hello. So you guys can be heard, I can be heard. That must mean it's time for the Geek Battle Show here on the Extreme Improv Xstreamed YouTube channel, as well as the Geek Battle YouTube channel. Head over to www.youtube.com/@geekbattle. Smash that subscribe button, set your phasers to stun, and get ready for lots of geekiness, improv, podcasting, game show, points winning fun. So we're going to work out who is today's Geek of the Week, and we're going to start by launching straight into our introductions round, where each of our panelists will give a random geek trivia fact in the quest for a bonus point, if it is deemed interesting by yours truly. My name is David, by the way. Also on the show today, we have Tim. Say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
Hey, what's going on? And it's Tim from Providence, coming to you live from Rhode Island in the heat and humidity. My random geek fact of the week is to make spaceships more realistic in your science fiction franchises, make sure that they have ways to dump their waste heat. One of the problems that occurs, and this is according to the Templin Institute, and my understanding as a firefighter, is the ways to get rid of heat is heat has to move to other places so that it's touching those things. However, in space, there's not a lot of things that a spaceship can touch because there's no matter. So you have to have radiators that give off radiant heat, which is only 10% of the heat given off in a fire in an atmosphere that you see like a campfire. There's also conduction and convection. So you really have to come up with good, efficient ways to get rid of your waste heat in a science fiction franchise and to cloak it if an enemy is trying to pick it up on its sensors.
That is awesome. My mind's going to a million things. So I had to take a fire safety course for like a place where it was like a theatre and stuff a few years ago. And so convection heat, all this kind of stuff rings a bell. But you saying that in the vacuum of space, if I understand this correct, like if you had like a spaceship, the heat wouldn't be able to escape.
So you'd have to, the heat would be able to escape, but only through the creation of light. Because radiant light is, photons are what carries heat from the sun, and photons are also what creates the visible light. So please feel free to check me if I'm wrong scientifically, but that's my understanding, is that photons are created from chemical reactions, and those can carry with it radiant heat. So In a campfire, you're going to have a convection current, which is superheated materials from the fire that rise up into a mushroom and then slowly cascade on the sides. And then there is a conductive heat, which if it is like a conductive material like metal, the heat can travel almost within the material, and that gets spread out. But in space, there is no conductive material or convection current because nothing's getting burnt. So the only way you can give off heat, get rid of that extra heat, is through radiant energy, and that will create, you have to use like specific radiators or things like that. It's fascinating.
It is. Well, I'm going to get Tim. That is definitely worth 2 points as a bonus because that was super fascinating. I believed it all, and I've also decided that if ever this group of people are stuck on a desert island, Tim's in charge of our survival. Right. So,
I'm going to challenge that.
Okay, go on then, Nick. Let's see. Let's see who's going to be our leader when we're stranded on an island like Lost.
I'm not going to let a person from New England be the leader of our group. That's just something I'm not going to stand
I think the only way he can be usurped at this stage is someone has to come up with something for better survival in the wilderness. Tim has got us surviving in space, keeping the heat in and everything. Nick, say hello to the people and give us a random geek fact.
Hello to the people. My name is Nick. I am from Virginia. Surprisingly not in New England. But my geek fact of the week is in a milk fridge, no one can hear you scream.
In a milk fridge?
Yeah, like in a walk-in fridge. I work at a coffee shop.
Wait, hang on. Do you know this from personal experience? Either you got stuck in a fridge, or you have someone trapped in a fridge.
No, I got locked in the fridge by mistake because I forgot to set the door to stay open. I was there for 10 minutes. I just had to call him. I had my phone on me and I had to call a bunch of people over and over because it was busy. And I forgot to just put the bungee on the door so it would stay open.
Well, you definitely get a point here, Nick, but based on this information that you can easily get locked in milk fridges, I don't think you should be in charge of our survival.
Although he can help you survive in the tundra.
In a what?
Or at least
the tundra.
A tundra. A frozen tundra.
I mean, it was only 40 degrees. It's not that cold.
Okay.
Technically, I could be better, helpful with that because he's south from me, so it doesn't get as cold down there.
Ah. Okay, at that point, Gerald, say hello to the people. Give us a random geek trivia fact.
Hey, everybody. I will say, Nick, that seems like a lacking safety feature, and I thought most walk-in freezers and fridges have an escape button or something.
Yes, they do. It was my second or third day at the store. I didn't know where the button was.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Let me just interject that. I can't remember where I heard this story. It was on a TikTok or something about someone who got stuck in a freezer or something like this, and literally they ended up just thinking themselves to death because they convinced themselves that they were going to die, and the conditions in there shouldn't have killed them, but because they thought they were going to die, they kind of shocked themselves to death. I don't know if that was a true story.
Okay, that's it. I'm out.
Yeah, right. Bye, guys. Right.
I can talk about the safety aspect of it if you want.
No, I think we're good. Right, okay. Go on, Gerald, you were going to say.
Okay, so I don't know. I would say most of you probably know this, but if not, Star Wars, when it was being filmed, this is the original New Hope before it was called New Hope. So back in the early mid-70s, I guess, the name that they used was called Blue Harvest.
Yes.
And then additionally into that, sort of a related Star Wars fact, Harrison Ford was a carpenter before he became famous, not only for, but his main famous one was the Star Wars movies.
So this makes sense why the Family Guy remakes of Star Wars were called Blue Harvest.
Yep.
That is definitely worth a bonus point there, Gerald. Love it.
All right.
So Harrison Ford was a carpenter. Wow.
Just like Chris Pratt.
Also,
That I did not know. Wow.
the reason why he was a carpenter he had done American Graffiti, and he was helping out George Lucas doing carpentry, and they needed, I think they had either 4 or 5 of every person auditioning for every character, except for Han Solo. They were one short of all the people, of the same number of people, and Han Solo was around. I mean, not Han Solo. Harrison Ford was around, and he was like, "Hey, do us a favor. Can you read lines with these other people? See if we find the right person." And turns out that yes, it was the guy who they called in randomly to read lines. For a part that he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it if you pay me enough money." You know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Wow. So what? So Harrison Ford wasn't even an actor.
He was an actor, but he was also he was an actor like my hobby, and like carpentry was his main gig.
Wow.
He had just done American Graffiti.
Well, do you know what? If acting is his hobby, I'd like to see how good he is at carpentry. Right. On that note, Capelfave, say hello to the people and give us some random geek trivia fact.
Hello, my Geektonians, sailing from the land of leopards, elephants, and crocodiles. It's me, Cattle Dave, and my geek fact. Well, I have a TMNT geek fact, but before I get to that, Dave, Tim, you mentioned the realistic spaceships, right? I mean, you reminded me of the Tau Empire in the Great Warhammer 40k universe, where there is new species, well, much more logical, and unlike the other factions in Warhammer, not very warmongering and violent, but there are some conspiracy theories why and stuff like that. But here's the thing. They prefer long-range weapons as modern armies because that's more effective than going up to pieces and cutting some people to pieces. So they were much more logical and technologically very advanced. But when they encountered the Imperium of Man, the Space Marines and stuff like that, they saw a fucking ship having broadside and a ramming port in the front of their ship, and they thought, what the heck do they need these things in space? But guess what? They won! The unrealistic war machines won because they were brutal, they were violent, and variously creative. So I would say they don't really care about realistics because there are a bunch of people who would just jump in a place with plasma cannons and just sword. So I'm going for 40k universe realism. And my other geek fact for TMNT would be, hey, TMNT has sort of Star Trek because they watch a show of David's favorite He-Man that's called a different kind of show, Narg the Barbarian, and they watch an alternate version of Star Trek called The Space Heroes. And each episode that they watch kind of reflects what happens in the TMNT universe.
Yeah, cool.
Wow, that is really cool. Okay, you get 2 bonus points there, Cap. Why not? Right, so with this, let's react to some stuff. We've got a few games and things that we'll do on today's show as well. But first of all, is there anything people want to react to? What's the breaking news? What's the hot takes? Have people, like, I think we've agreed that we won't go into spoilers for the finale of Secret Invasion, but I can certainly say that I'd hope we'd all agree, thank God it's over. But, go ahead.
Hold on. I like Secret Invasion. I kind of figured it out before it ended, but what I would have liked that they done is that the episodes would have been hour-long episodes instead of half-hour, because there was some stuff that they could have done differently if they would have had the extra, 18 or 19 minutes 30 minutes because there's no ads or no commercials.
Yeah, so you have seen it?
I saw it, yes.
Okay. And you liked it?
I like the character of Nick Fury a lot.
Well, that's because you love Samuel L. Jackson. This isn't fair, right?
But I like Nick Fury even before.
That's fair. That's fair.
I became obsessed with our Lord and Savior Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
But he has your name, Nick Fury.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, he's a Nicholas J. I'm a Nicholas E.
Oh.
That's a tough one.
You can just imagine that in the future there'll be like rival gangs. I'm like Nicholas J. Well, I'm a Nicholas E. Warring tribes. Right. Anyone else? Has anyone else?
only if we can do dance fighting a la...
West Side Story.
Thank you. I couldn't remember the name of the show. But
Yeah. Okay, is anyone else see... I will probably catch Secret Invasion later. Cap.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of the Secret Invasion because I'm not really interested at all. But so what about the Rudy situation, War Machine situation? So did they reveal how long was the a scroll?
Well, this is spoilers. Cap, you can't be like, I didn't see it, but did this happen? Right, you're just tricking Nick into giving the spoilers.
Hey, Cap.
You guys said it on the last show.
Cap, I'll send you a DM.
He's definitely going to send it publicly now.
Please stay in the DMs.
But
No
here's
sliding out.
But there's the thing that one of our actually fellow geeks had mentioned on Facebook
Yes.
that I found interesting.
I know what you're gonna say, and yes, it is that.
So it's because of the timing and stuff like that. There's the dialogue in Winter Soldier shared between Falcon and War Machine, which becomes really inappropriate if it's like he's been replaced by a Skrull because they were talking about the real issue, which kind of.
Yep, and it's actually a plot point in the later episodes.
Okay, right.
Really.
We have to remember that there's also a series called Armor Wars coming out, which is going to be.
That looks super cool. Actually, I'm very excited.
I don't think this should be a spoiler to something. I heard that was going to be reworked into a movie, but I don't know if that's true or not.
I don't know.
Saying that they're going to make it either a movie or a show. I'm really curious, based on something that happened on Secret Invasion, how they're gonna explain something that happened.
It would just be nice to me if they had some more robots fighting each other, like in Iron Man 2. I did enjoy that. Or it was Iron Man 2 at the end. Because who doesn't want to see giant robots fighting each other?
You bring up a good
Marvel
point.
plus Pacific Rim.
Why aren't there more robots in this world? Like, with everything Tony Stark created and other people can copy, there should be more robots in the MCU universe.
Maybe they just got tired of Ultron or something.
Well, yeah, I guess.
There is an old What If comic book that they do that. That basically a bunch of Iron Man mechs go rogue.
The best episode of What If when that show was on was the first.
The zombie one.
No. Well, that wasn't bad, but I was going to say the first when they got to the last two episodes where it was their Avengers team up one. I was kind of disappointed by the finale, but the first half of that I thought was really good, and that was an Ultron episode. But yeah, the zombie one was all right. But it was at that stage where I was just Tony Stark is just Kenny from South Park, where they kill him in every episode.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I also really like the Peggy Carter, Captain Carter.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I thought it was all right, but I didn't like the way that they drew Peggy Carter in that episode, because obviously then they introduced Captain Carter in Multiverse of Madness, and she couldn't live up to the way she was drawn. She was drawn massive, and then it's well, you should have known that you were casting Hayley Atwell as Captain Carter as well, and that she won't live up to the way you've drawn her here. But still,
I don't really like Captain Britain.
You don't like Captain Britain?
No, I like that character a lot.
Okay, cool.
I'm cool with Captain Britain in both, the way she's drawn and her character in Multiverse. I didn't think it was that big of an issue.
Although I would say they lowered most of characters in Multiverse. I think they destroyed most of the things they built upon. I think Captain Marvel was also in there and got killed by a statue while in the Infinity War Endgame she was going through a spaceship. And Captain Carter, is the most insulting thing. He's just I can do this all day, and then just one that just kills her. So what are you doing, guys? We need these characters to be
well, yeah, they built Wanda up, but they killed off their Captain Marvel, Peggy Carter, and Mr. Fantastic, and Charles Xavier, so easily.
And the most easiest way. That's the problem. They could have actually built up a good fight, and that would have been like, okay, maybe one that was smart. And they killed her like very fast. It's a very insulting way as well. Literally, Captain Britain says, "I can do this all day," and then shot. Imagine if that happened to Captain America. Like, we'd be like, okay.
But this was this again, like that episode of What If that I said that I liked, when Thanos turns up and Ultron just slices him in half. So, why didn't anyone else think of this? Like, it's sometimes you can do something. It's like, well, it's cool in that moment, and with the multiverse, you can explain. Well, there's another one where they didn't get beaten up straight away.
But the Ultron was, I would say, a little bit justified, because I think that what they was intending, that Ultron was going to be the best production for Earth, and Iron Man was kind of right, but Ultron was also kind of wackadoo because he wanted to destroy the Earth, but he was probably potentially the only person or machine that could have stopped Thanos pretty much from the get-go. But for Vision, in fact, it was kind of different. He wasn't Ultron at all. He had a personality and not so much of a doomsday, over-plotting thinker type. He had emotions and stuff like that. And Thanos kind of foresee that that's easy to overcome, and they sent the guy with the spear that can technically, disrupt this vibranium or somewhat. So that's kind of justified, and there's a reason why the Avengers killed Ultron, because he was technically more dangerous and more capable of doing things, harmful things at least.
My biggest beef with the Multiverse of Madness was, if you're gonna call the movie the Multiverse of Madness, you gotta show me more than 3 universes, man.
I agree. That was what let it down for me. They can't just have that one sequence where they're falling and suddenly they're just paint.
Which was super cool. Like, that sequence was super cool.
It was.
Like, it's the multiverse.
It was like, do you remember Family Guy, where they have the multiverse episodes and they're suddenly in a world where they're just like in a wall, and then like Brian wags his tail to make them fall out. It was worse than that. And because that Family Guy was really good, but that had some very quick different universes, and this completely skipped over them.
It's also because that was a 17-minute format. It was a half-hour format.
Yeah, absolutely.
In a 2.5-hour movie, called the Multiverse of Madness, what would you call 3 universes? The Tri-Universe of Madness?
Yeah, exactly.
And even that was not a big of a change in the sense, like, the sequence was the only creative thing in that whole thing. Afterwards, you just, it's just a little bit reversed and stuff like that. I kind of get it, because, it's hard to center on a movie. But, again, the title was very misleading.
Yeah.
And most of the time, also, take out Doctor Strange from that movie as well, because, like, she was barely useful in that story at all. Why didn't he even call, like, Doctor Strange to the Multiverse of Madness? What did he do?
Joe, I kind of forget his involvement. Go on.
They have all these contracts with all these people that has so many movie deals, so they got to make sure that they get the guy that plays Doctor Strange in.
Yeah, somewhere. Okay, guys, I haven't brought this up in a while, and by that I mean I bring it up every week. But like the show Sliders, right, is the best version of a multiverse story, even though it kind of went bad. But like the beginning, like the first 2 seasons of it, was like the best way of like dealing with like a multiverse story, and the MCU, like Loki, could have become just a bit like Sliders or Doctor Who or whatever like this, but it should just have where there's somewhere where something's different, and then they end up somewhere else, and they notice all of the things that are a bit different. Just satisfy that the audience feel like, oh wow, in that world it's like this. Have something happen exciting, and then move on to the next.
Oh my god.
The Loki sorry, go ahead.
No, go. You go, Nick.
When you said Loki and Doctor Who in the same sentence, I was like, yes. Can we see that crossover? Like, I would like for Russell T Davies to write, like, 1 episode of Loki. Just 1.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what? I've just spotted in the comment. First Last just said, let's get a Quantum Leap remake. I have news for you. They did it. It came out last year. And I think there's going to be a second series of it, or second season. I've seen only the first episode of it, because recently I've been watching the original Quantum Leap, and then we've had to wait in the UK up until like 2 weeks ago for them to bring the remake of Quantum Leap. And this isn't really a spoiler. It's kind of like a sequel. So they kind of acknowledge that in the past, Dr. Sam Beckett invented a time machine, and this focuses on new characters. But I've only seen the first episode, and it was okay, but I was very disappointed because they didn't have the same theme music. Ziggy isn't shaped the same, and the way that they did like the hologram, it didn't have the same sound effects and stuff. So for that, I've written the whole show off. It might be really good though. Once I get to episode 2, I'll give it another shot. But it needed to have da 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 as the theme tune. Without that, it's not Quantum Leap. But yeah, they should remake Sliders as well. Go on, someone else speak. Tim.
So when you brought up the idea of like more multiverses and like a little bit creatively described in Doctor Strange, it made me really think like they haven't really maybe explored as many multiverses as they could in a way, you know? Because we were talking about like radiators in space, how you have like certain physical rules or basically scientific rules, like, you know, the laws of physics or something. And granted, that changes as you get smaller in size and go to like different particle sizes. So those laws don't exactly apply in the same way. But what if you like, I don't know, it'd be cool to see multiverses where things really are different, where you're not talking through like vocal memes, where the senses are different. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of other creative ways that they could have done it, and they just touched upon like the multiverses that exist in ways that
just before you guys come in, let me just quickly add to that. So that might be cool, but if I go again on Sliders as the example here of how to do it or not to do it, what I loved so much about Sliders is it was almost always just like alternative history. So it was like, what if Russians ruled America, and what if like a meteorite was coming to the Earth in this particular world, which obviously isn't happening in our history. There was ones like if going back in time, it was like a female dominated society, and what if there was like a virus, then we hadn't invented penicillin and stuff like that. In later series, they did come up with the idea of, what if like electricity is sentient and stuff like this, or just stuff that was just changed up the stuff. But to me, those episodes always came off as a little bit more far-fetched, but that was probably just because when it started, it was literally just alternate history, and they should have introduced some of the more unusual, because there was like one where vampires actually existed, and I was just like, nothing in history would have made this happen. But if they'd established these ones earlier on. Okay, I'll shut up again. Cap.
So, because you like that multiverse of creative things, Tim, I would recommend the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Because so in that one, they actually play it off, but also it's the comedy / drama thing, so they had much more fun with it doing things. But to be honest, like, not spoilers, but you probably see the trailer of the sausage hand. I would have, preferred without the sausage hand, but that's creative. I'll give them that.
Much preferred it without the what?
I would prefer it without people having sausage for fingers.
Oh my god, that part was hilarious.
Yeah.
It's
hilarious when they get to a point where it goes where I go.
Okay, remind me, in that world, did that change like the character that jumped from world to world as well?
Yeah, she had hot dog fingers too.
And why was that? Why would it change you? Because that was like in Doctor Strange when suddenly you turn into paint. I think you should stay the same if you're just a traveller.
I think it's more along the lines of like your essence rather than in your physical nature.
Okay.
I agree with that.
So they are transferring consciousness in multiverses. That's what they're basically doing. Like, this Evelyn is like, I think her name is Evelyn.
I've only seen this movie once, so it wasn't that you could meet two of the same person.
You would take their skills and stuff. So like one of the parts where she ends up having to fight, they like bring her in like kung fu skills or something.
So this kind of was
from one of the other multiverses.
Sliders meets Quantum Leap because they leapt into people. I've never made that connection.
Sort of, yeah.
I'm watching that film again tonight. Right, okay.
That film that film came out in the perfect time where all these multiverses movies were coming through, and that's one of the films that did it right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. It explores it right in 2 hours, and I think that if you're not like a Marvel fan, that movie is a great primer to sort of understand the concepts of what a multiverse is for someone who's not, into that thing.
Yeah. Now, to
Yeah, I
answer,
think so too.
I just spotted Nick's asked in the chat, why must everything come back to sliders? That is almost like the title of my next book, and I will explore that answer in that. But anyway, Gerald, you're about to say.
I was just gonna say, like, Cap stole my thunder because I was gonna say the same movie, and I thought that they did an excellent job with how they did a multiverse type of thing, and they explained it in a somewhat basic way because, like, Tim's talking about all this super scientist stuff with quantum physics and heat transference and all that stuff. But I mean, it makes it fairly easy to understand and sort of like how they do it. And I think it's a fantastic movie. I think, it's one of those because it got a lot of hype and it ended up winning a ton of awards. I think it's valid because it just was an incredible movie. I've seen it twice so far, and I definitely will see it again.
I've been meaning to watch it.
Oh, you've not seen it? Okay. Tim, then Cap?
I think it's a really good movie too, because if you're not into like the understanding of the multiverse, at least it can open a person's eyes to how things are perceived, and that the freedom of that can be kind of fun. It's like you start to look at things differently. Like, there's always that period in life where someone might be questioning things like, why do we have to drink water all the time? Like, what if I was allergic to it or something? Just like, it is a great movie to sort of just allow your brain to ask a couple of silly questions in terms of how we exist in this world. So it's, I think for multiple reasons, it's a pretty fantastic movie.
Yeah. Okay, Cap?
My first introduction to the multiverse concept itself was, the Turtles. So they actually, because they actually had to explain it a lot because they did a rebooted show, and they wanted to do crossovers. They almost did every crossover and every season they come. I'm not really sure about the Rise Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was crap, so I didn't watch it. And so the 2012 and 2003 did crossover with the 80s cartoon, and that's when Shredder discovers there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles everywhere. And he kind of lost it because, oh my god, so even if I kill them, there's going to be, turtles everywhere in this multiverse. I can't allow this to happen. I need to destroy the multiverse itself. It's a great movie called Turtles Forever with the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That's when I first learned the concept of the multiverse, and they go to these different theories. There's comics with the TMNT, there's movies with the TMNT, and also there's the original comics. So they kind of take a trip to all these different versions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And decidedly not, each character kind of likes certain worlds. Like the 80s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles goes very well with Michelangelo's character in the later season because the other Turtles were much more serious than Michelangelo. So it goes well with him, and he loves all the
I think I've seen this, and they made the proper Turtles from the 80s cartoon seem like idiots, and I didn't like that.
They didn't make them idiots. I would say they made them a little bit bizarre. So basically, the Donatello from the 80s show says, I need to build a trans-dimensional portal stick. And then this Donatello goes, what the heck is that? And he's like, I'll show you. And he made something, and he goes, that should have worked. And then this Donnie goes, that will never work. That's not a trans-dimensional portal.
Yeah, exactly. They made him an idiot.
No, but wait. But at the end of the day, his weird tech kind of is the one that saves 2003 Turtles because they're more locked inside the most serious world. They couldn't figure out new solutions. While the other goofball Turtles, in a sense, figure out new ways to actually help them a lot. But here's the kicker. In the 2012 version, that's where they utterly destroyed them because they basically, the new Turtles will go and tell, use your goddamn weapons. You just hold them like this. And here's the thing. They actually teach those Turtles because in the 2012 version, they cut people. So it's very much okay with it. And Leonardo finally gets to use the sword, the 80s Leonardo, and he goes, I feel violence. I like it. Let's do it more often.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just look. So in America, is a slider a kind of burger or something? Because
Yes.
I've seen that term when I was in America at like a Denny's, but I honestly didn't really understand what it meant.
So
It's
a slider.
sort of a smaller hamburger, isn't it? Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
basically.
Usually you get like 2 or 3 of them.
It's probably
Maybe
like
like
a
a pound.
British-sized hamburger.
Yes,
You
two or
know.
three of those.
We don't have like small. We just have a hamburger, right? Okay, so who was going to come in with something there, or shall we? Yeah, go ahead, Tim.
I think everything, everywhere, all at once is also a good primer for like if you're starting in different science fiction franchises, because there are often times where in like the 4th or 5th season of a syndicated series, you're like, why are they doing time travel, or why are they in an alternate dimension?
But
Part of it is because maybe they've run out of ideas to write for in the regular timeline. So
Yeah.
it allows you to sort of also perceive things in terms of that.
I mean, actually, like the first thing that I saw with like a parallel dimension thing, it probably wasn't sliders. It was probably that I saw like the original Star Trek with like the mirror
Yep.
dimension.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought you were going to say Doctor Who.
Yeah, it was,
I'm trying to think if Doctor Who, when Doctor Who did it, like they did it in the new, like the 2005 season or like 2006 when they brought in like the Cybermen and that. But I don't know, like I'm not like if Dave Meakin was here, he knows the classic Doctor Who a lot more than me. But they probably did do an alternative dimension story in classic Who, but I can't remember one off the top of my head. I may fact check it.
I vaguely recall that they did something in the 80s Doctor Who. I couldn't tell you the specifics, but I'm almost certain they did at least a handful of episodes.
Do you know what? I hate the word parallel. I always misspell it, and it always corrects it for me. What about the dumb
LLEL.
Frankenstein Superman? Isn't that an OG multiverse thing? What? Bizarro World Superman? I guess it is, isn't it? Can someone...
No, because Bizarro is technically in Superman's universe, right? He's just basically opposite Superman.
So how did
But
he
there's
get
Bizarro
created?
World too.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I know there's Bizarro World, which is I don't know exactly how it works.
I know that there is a Bizarro episode in Seinfeld.
I mean, there is a Friends, right? There's like a couple of episodes of Friends where it's like, what if, like, Chandler or whatever, what if Rachel got married to Barry and stuff like that. They literally did that even in Friends. Well, imagine if that was someone's introduction to the multiverse. That episode in Friends where things are just different.
I would say like the one I had in Ben 10 was really I hated that. It was a what if story where Ben 10 doesn't get the Omnitrix, his cousin does, and I was like, no. I didn't like.
I was just gonna say, tying into the multiverse thing. I heard that I guess it was announced during the San Diego Comic Convention that DC is doing another animated, but this is one I would have hoped that they would have done as a movie series, Crisis on Infinite Earths, which is one of their biggest story arcs.
Yeah.
So again, it is going to be animated that they're working on, which I think is going to be fantastic. But to me, that story, if they really wanted to launch this DC universe, movie universe, that's what they should have done.
But like,
and they could have resolved some of the other issues that they've had with some of these failures that they've had so far.
So they kind of they already did it on like Supergirl and Flash, right? And then the Flash movie, I guess, was meant to lead more into that, but
no, that was Flash. No, that was Flashpoint. I think Gerald was showing like Crisis on Infinite Earths, much more of a different thing. Whereas like alternate universes, people need help in a sense. They already did an animated movie on that. This was back in the animated movies now have like a phase as well with the MCU. This is back in the time where they were kind of good and they kind of did the New 52 and it kind of went bad. But it was relatively better than their live-action movies. In that one, they basically did a universe where they have to go Lex Luthor's a good guy, and there's like a different sort of Justice League who are evil, and there's Owlman. So they did a animated movie already, but I think they're also doing it now again, the new phase of the animated movies that they're doing as well.
Yeah, and I think in the comic series or the comic world, that they've had multiple Crisis on Infinite Earths. The big one was when I think it was Supergirl was killed or something. that was probably again back in the mid to late 80s. But then they've sort of come back to that, and in the current environment where they have this what do they call it, the Batman who laughs. They have sort of that dark world multiverse-ish type thing.
It's so good.
Okay, so just to fill in a gap from earlier, I'm on like the Doctor Who Wikipedia, like, you know, when they have like wikias or whatever they're called, right? So it's not actual Wikipedia, but it's the thing. I will just say this on the record. I hate the Doctor Who Wikipedia site, which is dedicated to Doctor Who, because they just take everything as canon. I don't care about like the comics. I don't care about the audio dramas. I know Dave Meakin again would. I don't care about prose. It's like, do you think I'm going to read books? It's like, so every time it's like, it's got this whole section on parallel universes. And then when it tells you all this, you just get to the end and it cites where it's from. And it literally just says, prose, the Book of the War. It's like, well, disregard. Prose, Imperial Moon. Comic, The Glorious Dead. Just tell me if it, like, did it ever happen on a TV show? But they don't tell you. So I don't know is the answer.
The computer. Like, tell me if there's a TV
I'm going to ask ChatGPT. That will get to it. Let's do this.
It will lie. It will lie.
Look, let's ask the evil. Oh yeah, it's weird. Since, guys, we haven't even acknowledged, since the last time we were all together, Twitter became X. Bastards, stealing my damn thing.
Whatever that means.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. They did. Where's your royalties?
Yeah, exactly. They literally, I can't believe they stole this from me. It's like, this is all I have.
We should sue Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to sue Elon. You know, we'll do Geek Battle as sponsored by Elon Musk from now on.
You'll be like, I won't pay you any money, but I will appear on your Geek Battle.
Love you guys. I'm out.
How many years of free press does he have for making that decision? And why don't I care?
Yeah.
All the lawsuits, because like there are so many companies that I read an article on it that have some kind of X branded, so they might file a lawsuit and he gets free press from that. It's like, way to market yourself, man.
That I watched this morning was, I'm gonna DM X. I'm gonna DM you on X.
What's my name? What's
Well, do you know what? Like,
name?
so imagine nowadays if they like add more functionality to Twitter, so that you can rate movies. Would that mean that they're all X-rated?
Good point.
Yeah.
Wow, I thought that would be funnier than it was. Thanks, guys. Right.
If you get a GIF on X, did X give it to you?
Yeah,
What's
see, there you
your
go. They
name?
just write themselves.
Or your X on X. Yeah, it could be bad. Or your X on X on X.
Okay, hang on. ChatGPT has come through. Yes, in the classic Doctor Who series, the Doctor did visit a parallel universe. One notable example is in the serial Inferno, which aired in 1970 during the Third Doctor's era. In the story, the TARDIS malfunctions, sending him to an alternative Earth, where the Inferno project is drilling into the Earth's crust. Well, there you go. It sounds fantastic.
Well, wait. So, again, with ChatGPT, please make sure, and because this happened when I was researching for TMNT, where I asked, give me some quotes from the TMNT series that this character said, and give me episodes and seasons. First, it gave me the quote, then I asked, like, okay, I like this quote, where it's from, what season? It gave me a season and episode number. I went to that, and it wasn't it. And I was like, that's not it. And like, gave me a different season and episode number. And like, did you make this up? And it's like, I'm sorry, I did make this up.
That's amazing. Do you know, I asked it. I'm trying to think where it came from. I asked it. Okay, so you know, like in video games, like a joystick, like, you know, like a joystick. I asked, like, you know, was it named after someone called George? And they said no, it wasn't. It was named after, and it said some other explanation. I was like, according to Wikipedia, it's named after someone called George, and it was like, yes, you're right, my mistake. Because originally, it's like someone like in a biplane or whatever had like a flight stick, and their name was George. So they always said, "Oh, grab the George stick," and apparently that evolved into a joystick. So there you go.
Oh, okay.
But this is the weird thing. It lies confidently. That's the weird part. I believed it so much. I went into the seasons and looked at it, and when I said, Were you lying? Yes, I'm sorry that I lied.
Okay,
Well,
let's come to Nick, then Gerald, and then let's see if there's any other breaking news stories, and then we can play a game or two. Nick.
Well, first of all, Shania kind of died, but that's not what I was gonna.
Yeah.
If you're gonna lie, for the love of God, lie confidently. Like, if you're gonna lie, don't be like, yeah. Be like, you know what? Yes, you're genie right. I am gonna make this up, and you're gonna goddamn.
So, just to clarify, Nick, this would be like if you know to tell a lie confidently, it'd be like, yeah, Secret Invasion was a good show.
Yeah. No, the ending was very disappointing.
Oh, don't just spoil. Now my expectations. Right. Oh, unless that was the lie. Now I think it's going to be really good.
And you're gonna be even more disappointed.
This is why you don't lie, people, because you have no idea what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like now we're in a quandary of whether or not we should ever watch the finale or not. Gerald, what were you going to come in with?
So a couple of things I want to mention that Cap had talked about is this is one of the main concerns and fears about AI is people, and it's sort of an internet thing too, is people blindly go out and say, what is the tallest mountain in the world? I mean, we all have collectively agreed that it's Mount Everest, but just because somebody goes and types it on Wikipedia and looks it in there, and Wikipedia can be edited by other things, as are, millions of other websites and everything, there's certain learning and stuff that is different. And like when I was growing up as one of the elder statesmen, I think, of this group, if not the elder statesman, you had to go and look at a card catalog. You had to go, do some research and stuff. You couldn't just, in the encyclopedia. So, I mean, I guess encyclopedia is a little bit like Wikipedia, but it's both good and bad because you have this explosion of information. But the challenge is people just accepting stuff as truth.
Yeah.
And, just because, I saw it here, or ChatGPT or Bard or whatever this other thing told me that's the answer. And they say, they do their little disclaimer when you first go in saying, this is still a work in progress. Not everything is 100% correct. Make sure you double check and whatnot, because, there's, again, all this garbage information out there, these false, quote unquote, facts that are out there that, it's collectively scraped and pulled that and done that, and it kicks out this goofy sort of answer that may or may not be valid. The other thing I wanted to mention is, I don't know how they figured this out, but supposedly roughly $5 million of the ticket sales for Oppenheimer were because people were unable to go to Barbie because it was sold out.
That's really funny.
Yep.
Wow.
For the record, Barbie looks fantastic, and all my friends who have seen it say it's really good. And I'm like, fine, I'm gonna go watch it. So I will have a review.
Wait a minute, Nick. This sounds like a lie. You've already seen it 5 times.
No, I actually haven't had time to see it.
All I want is this. Someone do this, please.
I saw that.
Jar Jarby, love it.
So, Nick, that 6th time you're supposed to go see it. How was Oppenheimer?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
I want to see both movies, but I just don't care to see it. It's too soon.
I'm waiting for Barbenheimer to come out on streaming services. I'm more just going to see Barbie in the theaters.
I think Barbie will be entertaining. I'm not expecting to be like, wow, that was it's changed my life type thing. But I think the entertainment value is going to be high.
I think Toy Story 2 was the best Barbie movie I've ever seen.
Toy
Story 4.
Oh, is it 3? Is 3 the one with the evil Ken?
Yeah.
That is freaking awesome. I love that.
I would say that had a better Barbie plot than the Barbie movie. But I haven't seen it. But I heard it's weirdly political as well. But here's the thing. I think it's political, but they're forgetting that Barbie is usually popularly political. They usually go with whatever popular thing they have, and they go with that. So there's literally a guy who, again, this is much more a political thing. One of the other sides in America basically have a 44-minute rant where he doesn't like the Barbie movie and he burns Barbie doll because he doesn't like the dude, it's Barbie.
It brings up a good point of, again, watching everything everywhere all at once is it allows you to think that there could be different universes where different things are possible, and you don't have to get politics involved.
I'm a firm
It's like
believer.
it's kind of expected because Barbie always do what was currently political. I remember this specifically because my sister had Barbie DVDs with all the different music. In the 2000 era, when Friends was famous, Barbie kind of launched their own type of Barbie Friends and a coffee shop. It's called My Scene, basically. And again, it's based in New York City, where you have like a Phoebe Barbie and the Rachel Barbie,
So-
and then you have like a Joey Barbie, Chandler Cat.
If I'm understanding this correct, Cap, how big is your Barbie collection?
My sister had a DVD with like probably 12 Barbie movies.
I wish I could just flash up on the screen without you knowing. Like, Cap is an only child. My sister has a collection.
Not be as big as mine. Better not be as big as mine.
I can honestly say I definitely own a Barbie doll. I did a play in 2016 where I was playing a child, and the idea of the child is that the mother wanted a girl, and then a boy was born, and so playing the child, it was like I play from like a very young baby, and then I'm about a toddler by the time it ends. But like literally as the play begins, everything's like pink balloons and it's a girl, and then the mother's just really depressed, and then I'm there and I'm like, I'm not what mummy wanted and stuff like this. It was a cool show. But for that I had a Barbie doll and I've kept it. So I do actually have it.
I may have a Barbie doll that's dressed up like a firefighter.
Love it.
And if I do, it's because I still haven't given it to my niece because I keep forgetting to, but
Now she's 21.
I mean, she was 2 when I bought it, but it's been a couple more years since then. It's probably somewhere in the house, like amongst all the random accoutrements. But like,
So
whatever.
what I'm hearing, Tim, is it's tucked up in bed, and just for those cuddles at night.
Absolutely, because you know what? It's just the right like head feel of falling asleep on like a rock or something.
Okay,
And
here's the weird thing that
I got nothing.
well, like the trailer or whatever for the Barbie thing, like or on TikTok or whatever it was, where I saw it. It's like this movie actually has a new Barbie song that uses the Barbie song, like I'm a Barbie girl, that one that they sued them over like 30 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, like because
yeah.
they didn't they made it, they didn't own the rights to Barbie, and so Mattel or whoever sued them, and it was like, well, no, this is a parody, and Barbie lost, and now there's this movie out, and literally there's a new song which samples the original, and I had to look up. I was like, are they just doing this as a revenge? But it's they've done it as a collaboration now. Probably they knew when they were making this film. They're like, it's just going to mean that original song's going to go in the charts again. Let's just do a deal and get in on it.
Yep.
Tim?
Now, I wish and I hope someday that at some point there's like a Barbie movie where there's a portion of it like all of a sudden Steppenwolf is just like his butt kicked by Wonder Woman, and it's a quick 30-second thing. Just Wonder Woman shows up, na 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 na, like that music with the fiddle or something, and then bam, bam, whoop, bye bye, and then it's back to Barbie.
Love it.
That would be a caffeinated nightmare.
Barbie
I
is
like that.
confused for Tim because he said that.
Yeah.
Oh my God! You know how cool that would be. You know how? I'm just brainstorming right now. But.
Yeah, I love it. This is how great stuff comes up. Okay, so guys, let's go on to a game or two. We'll see if there's any other breaking news to discuss. But let's have a go at some impressions or descriptions, however you want to do it. I'm going to put into the chat a list of random people, and then you're not allowed to say the character's name. So whether you do an impression or just have to describe them. If people know who it is, then they get a point. If they guess correctly, then you also get a point. And if you don't, then you skip. So let's have a look. And you don't have to say skip. You can go in any order you want. So we'll give everyone like 90 seconds. Let's see who's going to go first. Capelthave, it will be you. So I'm going to send you a random list, which on the honor system I have not looked at. And if anyone knows who Cap is doing, then give a wave and say buzz. I will adjudicate who comes in when. Cap, if you can tell people yes or no if they've got it correct or not, then I will award a point. But your time starts now.
I'm Iron Man's Norman. I'm blonde and I have an army.
Buzz, Pepper Potts?
Yeah.
Correct. With Excalibur, I shall rule
Buzz.
all.
Nick.
Arthur.
Correct. I'm made of rocks and Medusa can't hurt me. And I'm in the Fantastic
Nick?
Four.
Oh.
The Thing.
Yes. Skip. I'm Spider-Man. Well, technically swapped in gender, but I have white dress.
Oh, but Nick.
Other Gwen.
Okay, try to say
Right.
buzz if you can, because I almost missed that.
Fine.
The Force is, well, not strong. Yeah, the Force is strong in this one. And
Buzz.
Tim.
I am your father.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
No. I am your
Darth
father.
Vader.
Buzz. Oh,
Gerald.
Darth Vader.
No.
Buzz.
Tim.
Anakin Skywalker.
No.
Buzz.
Nick.
Come, join me. Together we shall rule the galaxy.
Buzz.
No.
Buzz.
Nick.
Palpatine.
Buzz.
Gerald.
Luke Skywalker.
Correct.
Wow.
Wow, we're teenagers. We solve mysteries, and I'm the dog.
Buzz.
Gerald.
Mystery Machine, Scooby-Doo people.
No, I'm
Nick.
the dog.
Oh, you said that they're people.
Nick.
Buzz, Scooby-Doo. Oh,
Correct.
And that is time. Wow,
Good
that
job.
proved very difficult.
Give that last point to Gerald.
Okay.
no, you got it, Nick. You got it.
Right, no, it's done now. Right, so, okay, let's see who's going to go next. Next up will be myself. So, as I always have to say, because adding the points takes a moment, so just, again, on the honour system, keep track of how many you get right. Keep track of how many you get right, and then I'll trust you. The audience will find out if you lied, though. Right, so my time starts now. And... okay, I'm a child, and in a minute, poof, like this, I'm gonna fight Black Adam. Nick.
Shazam.
Nick?
Buzz.
Shazam.
Yes, correct. Hey, I got a hockey mask. Where are those turtles at?
Buzz.
Cap.
Casey Jones.
Yes.
Vigilante.
Okay. Why so serious?
Buzz.
Tim.
The Joker.
Yes. Harry Potter, what's that, a full moon? Oh!
Buzz.
Nick.
Lupin.
Yes. 1, 2, he's coming for you. 3, 4, lock your door. 5, 6. Hey, I got a claw for a hand. You didn't get my reference.
Buzz.
Cap.
Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
Never seen that movie.
Hey, you better watch that oil, Dad. I have a brother. He's a time traveler. And my mom made out with my brother in the past. Nick.
Buzz. Marty.
No,
Why?
no. My brother Marty made out with my mother in the past.
Biff?
No, skip then. Right, okay. Meow.
Buzz.
Gerald.
Catwoman.
Yes.
Catwoman.
Are you sure?
Buzz.
Tim.
Wolverine.
No! Right, you did the theme earlier. Steppenwolf. Gerald.
Ow!
What, Cap?
No, Gerald busted for
Gerald.
Oh, Steppenwolf.
No! Oh, that is
No,
time. Right, too late. It was Wonder Woman's too late. Right, okay. The one you didn't get earlier was Dave McFly. Dave McFly.
Oh, Dave.
Yeah.
Oh, Dave.
Okay, Cap, how many did you get?
1.
Cap had no. You had 2.
I'll take it, because that means I get 2 points. Gerald, how many did you get?
I had 1. had 2.
Okay. Right, 1 second. Tim, how many did you get?
Two, right?
Tim?
1.
You got one?
Yep.
Okay, and Nick, how many did you get?
2.
2. Okay, excellent. So let's see who's going to go next. Next up will be Gerald. And let's see what we've got here for you. And copied. And send these to the right person. Gerald. Paste. And your time starts now.
Okay, I have a whip, and I'm getting almost rolled upon by a giant rock.
Tim?
Buzz. Indiana Jones.
Yep. Skip. I am Superman's mom on Earth.
Buzz, Martha.
Martha Kent.
Yep. So this one you're going to laugh at me because I don't know these characters. I know the character sort of, but I'm in Harry Potter, and I have a very strange name.
Buzz, Ron. No, I don't know. Right, Cap.
Weasley?
No.
Buzz.
I believe I'm a bad person.
Buzz.
Tim.
Thomas Marvolo.
No.
Cap.
I have an X.
Malfoy.
I have an X in my name. And I actually have
Buzz,
strength in my
Elon
name.
Musk. No, I don't know.
Buzz,
Nick.
Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yes.
Oh, well done.
I'm on the Fantastic Four, and I'm the leader, and I can make my arm.
Buzz,
Buzz.
Mr. Fantastic.
Yep. Skip. I was played by Johnny Depp in a pirate movie.
Buzz,
Nick.
Jack Sparrow.
Yep. I am the Black Panther's sister, and I
Buzz.
make.
Nick.
Yep. I'm in The Nightmare Before Christmas, the main character.
Buzz,
Oh,
Jack
Nick.
Sparrow.
Oh,
I
that
am
is
a-
time. That is time. That is time. Okay, let's see who's going to go next. Remind me who has not had a go yet. So, Nick and Tim. Next up will be Nick.
Oh, you got 4 points that round.
Oh, no, you don't need to. It was only for when I was doing it that you had to count. Otherwise, I was adding the points. Right, so Nick.
Nick was on fire.
Yeah.
That was a good round.
Uh-oh. Hang on 1 second. Uh-oh. 1 second, guys. I'm almost like sending this to someone. I don't know. 1 second. So, not sure, but it will be in 30 minutes from now. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to send a message about someone to do the next show. I can't see you guys, which is a problem. There you are. Right, so Nick. Here is your list, and your time starts now.
I am Earth's Green Lantern, but not the one you want me to be.
Cap.
John Stewart?
No,
Buzz.
Tim next.
Guy Gardner.
no,
Gerald next.
Hal Jordan.
yes.
Oh man, I could have said that. Right, go on, keep going.
I like to dance, and I'm a superhero, and
Buzz.
I love 80s
Gerald.
music.
Dazzler.
No,
Keep going.
Buzz.
Tim.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
no.
Cap.
The karaoke man. There has to be someone.
I'm gonna say yes, but not really, and I'm gonna skip.
Okay.
I'm gonna skip that one too. I am in Harry Potter, and I was also in,
But Cap.
Professor Snape.
yes.
Very good.
No, that's wrong. I'm sorry. I read the wrong character. I'm a dog. I'm also a dog in Harry Potter.
Buzz, Fluffy.
No,
Oh.
what's his name?
Pass.
Ah.
Pass. I'm a princess in space, and I have bugs in
Buzz,
my hair.
Princess Leia.
Yes. I am a captain, and I can do this all day.
Buzz, Peggy Carter. Right. Okay. Cap.
Captain America.
Sure.
And that is time. That is time.
Sure.
Right. Sure. Why not? Right. Okay.
Thought I was going to work
Who's
Qui-Gon Jinn.
Kodos? Who's Kodos?
Kodos.
Kodos
As
is
in-
the alien, the green alien from The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
one of those. Yeah.
yeah, that was the one that I skipped over. And the Harry Potter character was Sirius Black.
Ah.
Who's the dancing one from Marvel?
Star-Lord.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, Tim.
Oh, yeah.
It is down
That
to
was
you.
a really good guess, though.
Tim,
that was good.
About him.
here
Yeah.
are your characters, and your time starts now.
All right. Oh, let me get to the top. I'm the really the beautiful elf woman from The Lord of the Rings.
Buzz, Toriel.
Galadriel. I come after Thursday.
Buzz,
Buzz.
Friday, man for Friday.
Yeah. Pass. Ooh, look at me! I'm the bad guy from Aladdin.
Buzz,
Buzz.
Nick.
Jafar.
Yep. Wow. I am a warlock, and I'm red, and I'm from Marvel. And I had a traumatic. I had a traumatic.
Nick.
I lost my
Charlie
kid.
Bridge.
Yep. I'm really fast, and my actor is in some legal trouble.
Buzz,
Buzz.
the Flash.
Yes. I am the opposite of Bruce Wayne's name.
Buzz.
Nick.
Bruce.
I'm the opposite of Bruce Wayne's superhero name. You still the
Buzz,
reverse part.
Man-Bat.
Yes. I am a water hero, and
Buzz. Aquaman, and you suck.
Buzz.
Yep. Everyone hated me in Game of Thrones because I was a really bad king, but
Buzz.
Buzz.
Joffrey. Yes.
Um,
I've never watched it.
pass. Terminator wouldn't have occurred without me making Sweet Love.
Cap.
Sarah Connor.
Yep. Batman was my boss, and then I
Buzz,
became,
Alfred.
Buzz.
and then I
Buzz.
became a superhero in a different place.
Oh, Gerald.
Nightwing.
I'm the perennial bad guy of Doctor Who. And I
Buzz,
look
the
like-
Master.
and I look like an overturned
Buzz,
laundry bin.
Dalek.
Yeah.
Okay, that is time, I'm afraid. That is time. Right, so I can
And I
reveal.
look like an overturned what? What was the clue?
The TARDIS. I forget what the TARDIS is.
Oh.
Oh,
that's
do you know what? Like,
the mailbox.
The police box.
what I quite loved there is sometimes we got the wrong answer, and Tim was like, "Yep," like just let's move it on. Because I was like Toriel, and he was like, "Yep, Galadriel," and I was like, "Well, I definitely got it wrong."
Oh God, sorry, that was my bad.
No, it's all cool.
Justice reading Lord of the Rings.
Like, because I was like the Master, then I was like Dalek. I was like, "I've got it," and then he was, then I was like, "That's time." He was like, "It was the TARDIS." I was like, "Well, we already got the point."
Wait, so I heard Galadriel somewhere.
No,
I was
it's
like,
okay.
okay, that works.
I
Well, it's a
said
weird
Galadriel.
word, isn't it?
Galadriel.
Okay, guys,
Say that.
we will begin to wrap things here. What I can reveal is, Nick, you're this week's Geek of the Week. So well done, well done. So, I'll check to see if there's any breaking news just as we do this, but let's do our outros round, which often we forget. So we tell people where we can find us, but also if you have any geeky recommendation to our watchers, listeners, etc., then by all means, give your geeky recommendation. Starting this time with Gerald.
Again, you can't find me anywhere except here. So check out these other guys. They got some awesome stuff. And I do not have any geek recommendations for right now. I
What?
still have, what I had said before is Twilight Zone, those old episodes, watch them and enjoy them. They're awesome.
Love it. Yeah, I've literally been watching the first season. I love that there's like 40 episodes a season. It's great. Like, how did that happen back in the day? Now, anyway, Tim, where can the people find you, and do you have any geeky recommendations?
Yeah, you can find me here. You can also find me providing commentary on culture, society, economy, agriculture, comedy, all sorts of things through an Instagram account called Potato Based Economy. You can also, what I recommend is actually a podcast called Laughbox, Laffbox. It's a podcast that is run by the Association for Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And they are an organization, a professional association that is a group of different professionals, nurses, improv instructors, doctors, researchers, who want to bring humor into the world as a therapeutic and applied science. So check that out, because I'll be on filming and recording a podcast in the next couple of weeks. That should be up by the end of August.
Awesome stuff. Great, Tim.
Awesome.
Cap, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Short Deeds, where I sing, I dance, I throw myself in a bucket, and I work with puppets. And recently I've been doing what if series for various characters from Disney and pop culture, and picturing them what if they had a YouTube channel like Guest on Aladdin, and the new entry is Dracula. But also stay tuned, because I have I will probably put out a Barbie episode, but it's going to take out a little bit longer. It's going to be a longer video analyzing Barbie movies, 12 of them. And then there's going to be a recent video based off the Disney princess, a little bit more like what Tim wants, like a little bit more actiony, so stay tuned for Short Dates, and then you can also find me here on numerous shows.
Awesome stuff. Nick, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at NSTEV. I can also be found here. I can also be found occasionally on some show which I can't remember the name right now of, because I am kind of tired. But my geeky recommendation for the week is my good friend Becker does a podcast called Blotto Beatles, where they cover one Beatles song every week, and they discuss it in really detail while getting drunk and hammered. It's super fun. They also do the word of the day, and then everybody has to take a shot I love Pee-wee's Playhouse, if anyone remembers that.
Yeah, sure. Okay, and my name is David Pstansky. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at David Pstansky, spelled Pustansky. You can also get various books such as the Improviser's Bucket List, Big Book of Improv Games, and some other stuff that I've got working on at the moment. For my geeky recommendation this week, if you haven't tried it, I'd suggest trying a Backbone controller, like with your smartphone. It literally clips on, and this actually works really well. It's the best one that I've tried. So do that. Now, with that, in a few minutes, if you want to see it, you can check out Extreme Improv Xstreamed, which will be on youtube.com/Extreme Improv. Make sure you smash the subscribe button there. And with that, from me, from everyone else, stay safe, always stay extremed, live long and prosper, may the force be with you, and ciao for now. Boom!
Let's sue!